Though he lived 5 centuries ago, Nostradamus claimed he could see well into our future.
2025 is predicted to be a tumultuous year, shrouded in mystery, fear, and endless anticipation. The predictions made centuries ago by Nostradamus, the enigmatic 16th century seer, are coming true. What if I told you that some of his prophecies are unfolding right now? And what if his vision for 2025 could reshape everything we thought we knew about our future? Societal collapse and famine. One of Nostradamus's most haunting predictions for 2025 involves societal collapse. In one quatrain, he wrote, "So high the price of wheat, that man is stirred, his fellow man to eat in his despair." Could this be a vision of global famine? As food and water become scarce, nations might descend into chaos. Riots, looting, and even acts of cannibalism could become horrifying realities. He wrote quatrains that mention the parched earth and great floods. He also warned of a very great famine through pestiferous wave, which could refer to tsunamis devastating agriculture and leading to disease and starvation. The dry earth will become drier, and suddenly a great flood will come. This is a verse taken from the work Les Prophéties, showing what Nostradamus predicted in 2025. To describe this verse, it can be understood that the already harsh climate situation will get worse. The French prophet predicts that extreme weather phenomena such as record heat, forest fires, droughts, storms will increasingly occur with greater frequency and intensity. Global warming is a huge phenomenon going on in the modern day. The Bible does not specifically talk about climate change or global warming. However, the Bible does tell us the world will eventually be burned in fire. Could be another way to understand how alarming the Earth's condition will gradually become. 2 Peter 3:10 informs us, "But the day of the Lord will come like a thief. The heavens will disappear with a roar, the elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything done in it will be laid bare." God will one day erase this current universe and replace it with the new heavens and new earth. How much effort should be made saving a planet that God is eventually going to obliterate and replace with a planet so amazing and wonderful that the current earth pales in comparison? The fall of leaders and the rise of new powers. Nostradamus also foresaw significant political upheaval in 2025. One of his quatrains reads, "The lion weakened, the eagle crows, a serpent rises and power flows." According to his prophecy, the chosen one is entirely different from what people typically expect. We are referring to the successor of King Charles III. Naturally, Prince William is seen as the future king, but according to Nostradamus's prophecy, the chosen one is actually William's younger brother, Harry. Recent speculation has surfaced regarding predictions made by 16th century astrologer Nostradamus, suggesting a tumultuous future for Britain's King Charles after his cancer diagnosis, which was discovered when he was undergoing treatment for an enlarged prostate. Royal observers speculated that King Charles might step down, either voluntarily or due to pressure related to his health. The revelation of King Charles's cancer diagnosis has left many questions unanswered, with Buckingham Palace withholding details regarding the cancer type and stage. This lack of transparency has fueled both concern and speculation about the monarch's health and the potential implications for the British monarchy. In his renowned work, Les Prophéties, Nostradamus seemingly forecasted the monarch's downfall, including potential abdication or forced removal. Nostradamus predicted the potential abdication of a king and the rise of an unexpected successor, which now seems to echo the current situation involving King Charles and Prince Harry. The ancient prophet said the King of the Isles would be driven out by force and would be replaced by one who will have no mark of a king. Before that, he accurately predicted Queen Elizabeth II's passing at around the age of 96, a prophecy that aligned with Buckingham Palace's announcement of King Charles III's diagnosis following his mother's demise in 2022. However, the question of how Prince Harry, who has shown little interest in royal duties, would end up as king remains unanswered. The royal family has faced its fair share of scandals in recent years. However, the one that garnered the most headlines and caused papers and tabloids across the world to go nuts was Prince Harry's exit from the royal family and the fallout thereafter. Despite his decision to pull back from his familial duties, many wonder if Prince Harry could still rule as king. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions. For 2025, Nostradamus predicted a series of catastrophic natural disasters. In one quatrain, he wrote, "Mountains tremble, seas shall rise. The earth beneath cracks open wide. Cities crumble, man shall flee, seeking refuge by the sea." Nostradamus describes earthquakes, floods, and storms that will surpass anything humanity has ever experienced before, suggesting that the world is on the brink of an unprecedented environmental crisis. Scholars of Nostradamus have pointed out that his predictions of natural disasters often align with current weather patterns, making this prophecy even more unsettling in a world where climate change is already wreaking havoc. The idea that even more severe natural disasters are looming no longer seems far-fetched. Scientists have repeatedly warned that events like global warming, deforestation, and pollution are exacerbating the frequency and intensity of natural disasters, and Nostradamus's prophecy seems to reflect these contemporary concerns. One of the most common interpretations of this prophecy is that Nostradamus was warning about the cumulative effects of climate change. References to fire in the sky and overflowing rivers could be interpreted as allusions to wildfires and extreme storms, both phenomena that are already occurring more frequently due to climate change. Additionally, the mention of the earth shaking may refer to an increase in seismic activity, something that some experts believe could be related to the extraction of natural resources and other human activities that affect soil stability. It is important to note that while Nostradamus's prophecies are often interpreted symbolically, the connection between his visions and current natural disasters has led to renewed interest in his writings. Some believe that the natural disasters predicted for 2025 will serve as a wake-up call for humanity, a warning that we must change our behavior before it is too late. On the other hand, skeptics argue that Nostradamus's predictions are too vague and can be interpreted in many different ways. Volcanoes and floods in Brazil. Are you noticing a pattern developing in Nostradamus's work yet? The oracle was very fond of both doom and indeed gloom, it seems, and he didn't restrict his pessimistic positing to this side of the Atlantic. Many have credited him with predicting the nightmare of America, but the words below could refer to the southern part of the Americas. Garden of the World, near the new city, in the path of the hollow mountains. It will be seized and plunged into the tub, forced to drink waters poisoned by sulfur. Garden of the World is surely the Amazon rainforest, while the new city could refer to the planned Brazilian capital of Brasilia. Mountainous terrain abounds in that part of the world, while the mention of being plunged into the tub suggests flooding and sulfur implies volcanic activity. Mysterious rumblings near a long-dormant volcano set Cariocas on edge a couple of years ago. Could their misgivings be found to have a basis in 2025? War and plague to surface in Europe. However, things might not be all plain sailing on the European front, and this time the UK is implicated. When those from the lands of Europe see England set up her throne behind her flanks, there will be cruel wars. The ancient plague will be worse than enemies. The mention of England, the concept of Britain, didn't exist in Nostradamus's time. Withdrawing into itself is almost certainly a pointer to the Brexit referendum and its continuing fallout. But if worker shortages and border delays were bad enough, warnings of cruel wars and ancient plague sound a far more ominous note. Extraterrestrial contact. One of Nostradamus's boldest predictions for 2025 involves the confirmation of extraterrestrial life. He wrote, "Beings from beyond, watchers of the night, reveal themselves in glowing light." He warned us about the visit of strangers. While the idea of an alien attack might seem like something out of science fiction, it is not without precedent. In the past, various cultures have reported encounters with extraterrestrial beings, and some have even claimed to have been abducted by aliens. However, it is important to note that there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of aliens or the possibility of an alien attack. While the likelihood of an alien attack is unknown, the idea of contact with extraterrestrial life raises a number of questions about our place in the universe and the possibility of other intelligent life. It could also have significant effects on our society and culture, potentially leading to new scientific discoveries and even religious or philosophical changes. While there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of extraterrestrial life, the search for such life is an active area of research. Scientists have discovered thousands of exoplanets, or planets that orbit stars other than our Sun, and some of these planets are located in the habitable zone, which could potentially support life. Additionally, several organizations, such as the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, are actively searching for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. Social revolutions. Nostradamus, in his writings, predicted a series of social revolutions that will shake the world in the year 2025. According to his prophecies, these revolts will be the result of growing inequality and a population increasingly dissatisfied with social and political conditions. Nostradamus describes a fire that will burn in the heart of cities, which many have interpreted as a premonition of social unrest and revolutionary changes that could redefine the structure of modern societies. Nostradamus's predictions about social revolutions have been the subject of numerous interpretations over the years. However, in the current context, where social and economic inequality continues to grow, these prophecies have taken on new significance. The gap between rich and poor has widened, and racial, gender, and class tensions are reaching boiling points in many parts of the world. This environment is ripe for the type of social revolution that Nostradamus seems to have predicted. A common interpretation of this prophecy is that Nostradamus was anticipating a massive uprising of the population against the ruling elites. References to fire in the heart of cities could be interpreted as riots and protests in large urban areas where inequality is most evident. In recent years, we have seen massive protests erupt in cities worldwide, from Hong Kong to Paris, in response to corruption, oppression, and lack of opportunities. Nostradamus's prophecy could be suggesting that these disturbances will intensify in 2025, leading to significant changes in the social order. Another interpretation suggests that these social revolutions could be driven by technology. Nostradamus mentions a new power that will arise and challenge existing structures, which some interpret as a reference to social media and digital technology. Today, online platforms have proven to be powerful tools for organizing and mobilizing social movements. From the Arab Spring to the Black Lives Matter movement, technology has played a crucial role in amplifying the voices of the oppressed and organizing large-scale protests. This prophecy could be warning of a digital revolution that will change the dynamics of power in the world. However, not everyone is convinced that this prophecy will come true. Skeptics argue that Nostradamus's predictions are too vague and can be applied to almost any situation of social conflict. Revelation of ancient secrets. Nostradamus predicted that the year 2025 could witness the revelation of ancient secrets that have remained hidden for centuries. According to his quatrains, these secrets will change our understanding of history and human knowledge, challenging the beliefs and theories we have taken for granted. The mention of buried truths has led many to speculate about the possibility of discovering documents, artifacts, or knowledge that could rewrite history as we know it. A common interpretation of this prophecy is that Nostradamus was anticipating the discovery of ancient texts that have been lost or suppressed over time. These texts could contain advanced knowledge about science, philosophy, or spirituality that has been deliberately hidden for political or religious reasons. With advances in exploration and preservation technology, the possibility of discovering ancient manuscripts in libraries, temples, or tombs is more real than ever. These discoveries could shed new light on past civilizations and change our understanding of history. Another possible interpretation is that Nostradamus was predicting the discovery of ancient artifacts that will challenge our understanding of the past. The mention of objects of power has been seen as a reference to artifacts that could possess unknown properties or advanced technologies that defy our current understanding. Nostradamus's prophecy reminds us that the future is uncertain and that we must be prepared to face any challenge that may arise. Global economic crisis. Another prediction attributed to Nostradamus is the onset of a major economic crisis. His quatrain that states, "The great wealth of a nation will fall," has been interpreted as a warning of a financial collapse affecting major global economies in 2025. This prophecy suggests a possible financial meltdown beginning in Europe, particularly impacting countries like Italy and Greece, whose economies are already vulnerable. This economic collapse is also projected to affect the Americas. Some interpret Nostradamus' words as referring to a possible recession in the United States and hyperinflation in countries like Argentina, which could lead to social unrest and increased unemployment. While these situations are concerning, some believe Nostradamus' visions merely reflect the economic anxieties of any era, even if current interpretations align with contemporary fears. Extreme climate changes. Nostradamus also predicted that the year 2025 could witness extreme climate changes that will alter the natural balance of the planet. In his quatrains, he refers to furious winds and raging seas, which many have interpreted as a warning about storms, hurricanes, and other extreme weather events that could become more frequent and destructive in the coming years. Extreme climate changes are not a new idea, but the frequency and intensity of these events have increased in recent decades. Heat waves, intense storms, and floods are affecting regions worldwide, and scientists warn that climate change is exacerbating these phenomena. Nostradamus' prophecy seems to align with these concerns, suggesting that 2025 could be a turning point where the effects of climate change become even more pronounced. A common interpretation of this prophecy is that Nostradamus was anticipating an increase in the frequency of natural disasters caused by climate change. References to furious winds and raging seas could be interpreted as hurricanes and typhoons devastating coastal regions, while the mention of fire in the sky could refer to wildfires that destroy large areas of forest. These phenomena are already occurring more frequently, and the possibility that they will intensify in the coming years is a real concern. Another possible interpretation is that Nostradamus was predicting broader climate change that will affect the entire planet. The mention of darkened skies has been seen as a reference to pollution and global dimming, a phenomenon that could result from the accumulation of particles in the atmosphere due to the burning of fossil fuels and other pollutants. Rise of cryptocurrencies, collapse of banknotes. Nostradamus wrote a book with about 1,000 French quatrains divided into ages, most of which are undated prophecies for which he is famous to this day. One of them says, "Copies of gold and silver were inflated. After then, they were thrown into the lake. Everything was exhausted and dissolved by the debt. All scripts and links will be removed." We can understand that the copies of gold and silver are the banknotes, which, according to the prophecy, will lose much of their value because of their inflation and the extremely large debt all over the world. The quatrain has double reading. Nostradamus refers to the rise of cryptocurrencies during the year 2024. Copies of gold and silver can be considered cryptocurrencies that copy the status of precious metals as a reserve asset. And encryption is spreading at the speed of a Formula One racing car. New intangible coins will appear, and investors will flock to their digital world, as known as metaverse. Nostradamus warns about the collapse of fiat money, like coins and banknotes. Let not this prophecy be regarded as an exhortation to the market cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies were invented because banknotes have started and are still losing in value. Let's not forget that cryptocurrencies are wind-blown. They do not represent some constant value, such as gold. The moon at night on top of the high mountain. The young sage with the lonely brain sees it. He is invited by his students to be immortal. Eyes to the south, hands on the torso, bodies on the fire. This enigmatic quatrain is a prediction of artificial intelligence's rise. Large-scale military conflicts. In his quatrains, Nostradamus also predicted the possibility of large-scale military conflicts that could break out in the year 2025. According to his visions, these wars will be devastating and affect multiple nations, pushing the world to the brink of global catastrophe. The mention of fire and blood in the sky has led many to interpret this as a reference to airstrikes and bombings, suggesting that the conflict could involve the world's largest military powers. Analysts of Nostradamus's prophecies have noted that these visions of war could be linked to current geopolitical tensions. In a world where relations between major powers are increasingly strained, the possibility of armed conflict is not far-fetched. Territorial disputes, the arms race, and ideological conflicts could trigger a series of confrontations that could ultimately escalate into a large-scale war. Nostradamus seems to have foreseen a scenario where diplomacy fails and nations turn to violence to resolve their differences. A common interpretation of this prophecy is that Nostradamus was anticipating a conflict between superpowers, possibly involving the United States, China, and Russia. The references to great eagles facing each other have been seen as an allusion to these countries, whose relations have deteriorated in recent years. The possibility that a territorial dispute or a diplomatic misunderstanding could trigger a larger conflict is a real concern in today's geopolitical landscape. Additionally, the mention of fire in the sky could be interpreted as a reference to the use of nuclear weapons, making the conflict even more devastating. Speaking of the world's conflict, Nostradamus might mention World War III. On the other hand, the Frenchman predicted the beginning of a new world war, 79 years after the end of the second one. A confrontation around China is something that many geopolitical experts and journalists have started to see in the changing dynamics and rise of China as a global power. In the past, China has showcased its brute force several times in regions around the South, China Sea and Taiwan, most of them through its naval ships. Analysts believe this may allude to the escalating conflict in Asia, with China involving NATO countries, potentially leading to a violent military conflict or an all-out war. Nostradamus also predicted something similar to this centuries ago. In one of his quatrains, he wrote about combat and naval battle. He said that the red adversary will become pale with fear, putting the great ocean in dread. Some think that the red adversary could be referring to China. He could well be referring to what happened in Ukraine, the China-Taiwan conflict, or Palestine. Some interpreters point to every earthquake, every political upheaval, and every attack on Israel as a sure sign that the end times are rapidly approaching. While the events may signal the approach of the last days, they are not necessarily indicators that the end times have arrived. The Apostle Paul warned that the last days would bring a marked increase in false teaching. The Spirit clearly says that in later times some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. The last days are described as perilous times because of the increasingly evil character of man and people who actively oppose the truth. Throughout Christian history, believers have speculated that the prophesied end times were just about to start. Some audacious ones have even set specific dates. People predicting end times dates usually focus on things like wars, increasing wickedness, and natural disasters. They talk about bad things like the increased fierceness of storms, the surge of killer viruses, severe famines and droughts, and escalating tensions between nations. There is no doubt that world war will be a part of the future. Christ plainly taught that there would be war prior to his return. Jesus foretold, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." Similarly, Revelation 6:4 foretold a symbolic horseman representing warfare that would take peace away from the earth. To be more specific, the future does hold at least one more world war. There is nothing in Scripture that says there will be only a certain number of world wars. World Wars I and II are not explicitly mentioned in Scripture, nor is a possible third world war. It is only the last war that is mentioned in detail, which allows the interpretation that there may be others before the final conflict. So, although there will be at least one more world war, there is no doubt of the outcome. Righteousness will prevail as Christ, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, defeats all who oppose him. It is also worth mentioning at this time that following the 1,000-year reign of Christ, there will be another uprising which could possibly have the scope of a world war. Satan will be bound for 1,000 years, and then released. Upon his release, he leads a rebellion among the peoples of the earth. Christ quickly puts down this rebellion and permanently judges Satan, casting him into the lake of fire as he did with the beast, Antichrist, and the false prophet. The coming of the Antichrist. The third Antichrist is here, just as Nostradamus predicted. 5 centuries ago, Nostradamus wrote of 3 Antichrists. 2, Napoleon and Hitler, have already bathed the world in blood, but it is the third who will bring the apocalypse. And his time has come. There are many names mentioned in connection with the Antichrist. People have made a lot of speculations about the identity of this person. It could be a famous person, rich, eloquent, and able to convince people easily. He is suspected of being Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or even King Charles. But we also have no certainty about this person's identity. We only know that that evil person has most likely appeared and is showing off his power. We are living in a time when the battle between the kingdom of God and the kingdom of Satan is heating up as never before. I believe this is because we are nearing the return of Christ and the ultimate destruction of Satan's kingdom. Little children, it is the last hour. And as you have heard that the Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have come, by which we know that it is the last hour. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest, that none of them were of us. But you have an anointing from the Holy One, and you know all things. I have not written to you because you do not know the truth, but because you know it, and that no lie is of the truth. Who is a liar but he who denies that Jesus is the Christ? He is an Antichrist who denies the Father and the Son. Whoever denies the Son does not have the Father either. He who acknowledges the Son has the Father also. Please note that there is not one but many Antichrists. In the course of human history, many Antichrists have appeared and been manifested. Secondly, there is the Antichrist, one specific person. That is the final manifestation, the final product of the spirit of Antichrist, which has not yet been revealed in human history. I believe his shadow has already fallen across the stage, but we have not seen the actual person. But at the end of this age, Scripture makes it clear. There will be one final, supremely evil, supremely powerful ruler who will dominate the human race for a brief period, who will be the Antichrist. The third form is the spirit of the Antichrist. The spirit of the Antichrist is the spirit that operates through every Antichrist. So Antichrist always begins in some way in association with the people of God. But it does not really belong there, and in due course that will be made manifest. That is one mark of the spirit of the Antichrist.
Among her numerous claims were predictions relating to world events, many which would later come true.
Baba Vanga, who named as Nostradamus of the Balkans, had given thousands of accurate predictions. At her time, Baba Vanga said that she could see in her mind's eye, and when she would look at a person, she said that she could see their whole life in its totality, complete from birth through their life until death. In her astonishingly accurate series of predictions, the blind prophet made forecasts about 2025 that will leave you surprised. Some things will come to an end, while others seem to be just beginning. A true crisis will erupt, and Europe will face a wrath that brings devastating destruction. All of this is foretold in Baba Vanga's predictions. The world leader's dangerous future. Baba Vanga made numerous predictions about global events, including an ominous vision for the two powerful men of the world, Russian President Vladimir Putin and American President Donald Trump. She foresaw a dramatic attempt on Putin's life orchestrated by someone within his own country. This prediction has stirred significant intrigue given its implications amid Russia's geopolitical tensions and internal power struggles. Some interpret it as a warning of growing unrest and internal challenges in Russia, further increasing debates about her strange accuracy. Vanga also once foretold that the US president's life would be in danger. Among her numerous predictions, Vanga had foreseen that the life of Donald Trump would be in danger. There were 2 attacks on his life is serving to further unsettle the tumultuous 2024 election cycle. According to Baba Vanga's predictions, Trump would face a mysterious illness that would leave him deaf and suffering from a brain tumor. While Trump has not experienced these specific health issues, the recent assassination attempt adds a chilling layer to her prophecy about his life being in peril. Natural disasters over the world. Baba Vanga is also known for her visions of natural disasters that would affect the planet's climate and living conditions. She reportedly predicted that extreme weather events, including intense heat waves in Europe and desertification in parts of South America and Asia, would mark 2025. These interpretations align with modern concerns about climate change, which forecasts drought conditions and extreme heat in certain regions. She foresaw a catastrophic earthquake striking the United States. Though specifics like location or timing remain unclear, her followers believe this prediction could be linked to the heightened seismic activity across the country. She warned that this earthquake might result in widespread devastation and loss, affecting countless lives. In the United States, there is concern that these fires could severely impact California and other regions prone to massive wildfires. Meanwhile, in Asia, some believe Vanga predicted an earthquake or tsunami that could affect Japan and its surrounding areas. As we face these predictions, it is essential to approach them with a balance of curiosity and caution, acknowledging both their historical context and their potential relevance to today's global challenges. The Chosen One. One of Baba Vanga's most intriguing predictions for 2025 is the birth of a child who will play a crucial role in achieving world peace. According to her prophecy, this child will bring a new order and become a spiritual leader who will unite humanity. It is said that the child will be born on January 5th, 2025, and will grow up with exceptional abilities that will enable them to guide the world in times of crisis. Seen as a symbol of hope amid darker prophecies, this child is regarded by some of Baba Vanga's followers as a sign of renewal and unity. Although this prediction is one of the least verifiable, it has captured the imagination of many and remains a topic of speculation. Baba Vanga also mentioned the name of the powerful man, Putin. This is one of her most famous predictions. According to her, Putin will become the lord of the world, while Europe will become a wasteland. All will thaw as if ice, only one remains untouched: Vladimir's glory, the glory of Russia. Nobody can stop Russia. After the Russia and Ukraine conflict, these alleged prophecies attributed to Bulgarian blind seer Baba Vanga went viral on social media and were mentioned by mainline international media as well. Reportedly, they came from Russian poet and academic Valentin Mitrofanovich Sidorov, who interviewed Baba Vanga and devoted a book to her, whose most popular edition, heavily edited after his death, was published in 2009. Many people are quite skeptical of this prophecy, and up until now, nothing is certain about the final outcome of the conflict between the two nations. Who will be the last warrior standing? Speaking of Putin, this blind prophet once again mentioned this leader and the connection to her prophecy. The mystic predicted that new cures for diseases like Alzheimer's and cancer will be invented very soon. It sounds unbelievable, but nothing is impossible with the rapid development of world medicine. President Vladimir Putin recently said that Russian scientists are close to creating a vaccine for cancer that could soon be available to patients. He said, "We have reached a significant milestone in the development of cancer vaccines and next-generation immunomodulatory drugs. I hope that soon they will be effectively used as methods of individual therapy," he added, speaking at a Moscow forum on future technologies. However, he did not specify the types of cancer the proposed vaccines would target. Furthermore, recent developments have confirmed progress in the development of a lung cancer vaccine. The United Kingdom has allocated funding for 2 years of laboratory research and initial manufacturing of 3,000 doses for a DNA-based lung cancer vaccine, as stated in a press release from the University of Oxford, located in Oxford, England. But it cannot be denied that the world will have a positive outlook for cancer patients, and we can fully expect that a miracle will happen in 2025. Geopolitical changes. Baba Vanga's predictions for 2025 also encompass significant geopolitical changes. She foresaw shifts in global power dynamics that could reshape international relations and influence the balance of power. Emerging powers could rise to prominence once dominant nations see their influence wane. These changes will impact global trade, economic policies, and diplomatic relations. Countries must navigate these shifts carefully to maintain stability and foster cooperation. Baba Vanga's prophecies suggest that some nations may form new alliances, while others could experience internal strife and political upheaval. The predicted geopolitical changes may also affect global security. Shifting power dynamics could increase the risk of conflicts and tensions. Nations must prioritize diplomacy and conflict resolution to avoid escalation and promote peace. In addition to power shifts, Baba Vanga predicted changes in global leadership. New leaders may emerge with different visions and policies, influencing the direction of their countries and the world. These leaders could be crucial in addressing global challenges, such as climate change, economic inequality, and social justice. Baba Vanga's predictions for geopolitical changes in 2024 highlight the need for adaptability and resilience. As the world evolves, nations must work together to navigate these changes and create a more stable and prosperous future. The sleeping pandemic. If you think the COVID-19 pandemic marked the peak of humanity's fear, then what Vanga predicted could very well lead us to a fear no less profound. Baba Vanga's prediction of a sleep pandemic is one of her most unsettling warnings. She described a mysterious illness that could sweep across the world, causing people to fall into a sudden, unexplained sleep. One of the strangest prophecies for 2025 is the emergence of a new pandemic caused by lack of sleep. A strange virus that triggers an outbreak of extreme fatigue never seen before is spreading worldwide in 2025. This pandemic is unprecedented in its scale, leading to a future where insomnia is a debilitating disease affecting everyone, causing conflicts and social unrest. People will feel an irresistible need to sleep and will be unable to do anything for extended periods. As a result, people will find it harder to work, go to school, and live their normal lives. There are many possible causes of this sleep pandemic in 2025. One is the increasing use of technology, especially smartphones and social media, which disrupts the natural sleep cycle and exposes people to blue light and radiation. Another is the rising level of stress and anxiety caused by the chaotic and uncertain world situation, which prevents people from relaxing and falling asleep. A third factor is the declining quality of the environment, especially air and water, which affects people's health and well-being and disrupts their sleep. These causes have persisted and worsened in recent years. Although many experts and organizations have warned and advised people to care for their sleep hygiene and health, they have recommended following simple tips, such as avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed, setting a regular sleep schedule, creating a comfortable and dark sleeping environment, and practicing relaxation techniques like meditation or yoga. Whatever the truth is, Baba Vanga's words leave us with chilling questions. The weird bird virus. For 2025, Vanga warned us the strange virus will attack human life so bad. Birds have been affected by numerous viruses in the past, such as avian flu, which can be transmitted to humans. It is possible that a new virus could emerge that would have a significant impact on bird populations. The potential consequences of such an event would depend on the severity of the virus and the ability of humans to contain its spread. A dangerous virus affecting bird populations could potentially have significant ecological and economic consequences. It could disrupt food supplies, as well as impact other animal populations that rely on birds for food or pollination. Additionally, it could potentially lead to the spread of the virus to humans, which could have significant health consequences. Bird populations have been affected by numerous viruses in the past, and the potential for future outbreaks is always a concern. However, the identification and monitoring of potential bird viruses is an active area of research, and scientists are working to develop new vaccines and other preventative measures to protect both birds and humans. Alien contact. While the idea of an alien attack might seem like something out of science fiction, it is not without precedent. In the past, various cultures have reported encounters with extraterrestrial beings, and some have even claimed to have been abducted by aliens. However, it is important to note that there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of aliens or the possibility of an alien attack. While the likelihood of an alien attack is unknown, the idea of contact with extraterrestrial life raises a number of questions about our place in the universe and the possibility of other intelligent life. It could also have significant effects on our society and culture, potentially leading to new scientific discoveries and even religious or philosophical changes. While there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of extraterrestrial life, the search for such life is an active area of research. Scientists have discovered thousands of exoplanets, or planets that orbit stars other than our Sun, and some of these planets are located in the habitable zone, which could potentially support life. Additionally, several organizations, such as the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, are actively searching for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. Economic crisis. Baba Vanga allegedly foresaw an economic crisis that would impact many parts of the world in 2025. She foresaw a financial collapse that would shake the global economy, leading to widespread poverty and turmoil. The crisis would not only affect banks and markets, but also devastate everyday life for people worldwide. According to some accounts, she predicted a financial collapse that would disrupt the global economy and plunge millions into poverty. This crisis is expected to manifest as hyperinflation in Latin American countries, particularly Argentina, and cause employment and stability issues in developed economies worldwide. Baba Vanga also warned of increasing inequality and the impact of poverty on different societies, which could spark social unrest and protests demanding change. The apocalypse. Apparently, the latest predictions have raised concern among her followers and the public, as they predict that the apocalypse will begin in 2025. The apocalypse is anticipated to begin in 2025, despite the fact that humanity will not be completely eradicated until 5079, as stated in the timeline of her predictions. Besides, Baba Vanga went on to state that a conflict in Europe would devastate the continent's population by 2025. The prophecy is worrying the people, particularly in light of the ongoing conflicts and tensions in geopolitics. Following Vanga, this is the timeline to the end of humanity. In 2025, the inciting incident that kicks off the ultimate end of humanity will be an unspecified conflict in Europe, which will devastate the continent's population. Then, when we come to 2028, humanity needs more energy. To do this, they will manage to explore Venus to find new energy sources. This may be one of the most unbelievable parts of this timeline, since Venus is essentially an inhospitable hellscape with an atmosphere so acidic that nothing could survive. And no space probe has ever managed to survive more than a couple of hours. In 2033, climate change is very dangerous, and that shouldn't be understated. However, Baba Vanga supposedly predicted that at this point, the polar ice caps would melt and sea levels would rise drastically worldwide. Ever see the old episode of The Simpsons where Russia flips a switch and the Soviet Union suddenly out of nowhere reforms? The Berlin Wall shoots back up out of the ground, and a zombie Vladimir Lenin smashes out of his crypt, groaning about crushing capitalism? Well, it may not be like this exactly, but Baba Vanga's alleged prediction claims that at this point in 2076, communism will not just be back, but will take over the entire world. In 2130, skipping ahead to the next century, humanity will, at this point, supposedly make contact with aliens. What could go wrong? Climate change in 2170 is going to get worse, and at this point, a drought is supposedly going to spread across the world. In 3005, perhaps it's due to human colonization, or perhaps it's aliens. Regardless, at this point, there will supposedly already have been some kind of civilization on Mars, and they will fight a war with Earth. In 3797, at this point, due to any number of reasons, the Earth will supposedly no longer be able to support life. Humans will allegedly leave their homeworld at this point and move on to parts unknown. This is it. The end gonna happen in 5079, the grand finale. And of course, with as vague of a prediction as this is, if this was even a real prediction at all, we know nothing about it. All we know is that the world will end. Yes, the world will supposedly already be uninhabitable by this point. So what this refers to is honestly anyone's guess. Does it go out with a bang or with a whimper? Is there a great epic battle or a rather anticlimactic incident? Keep in mind that this is all patently ridiculous. Yes, Baba Vanga was a real person, and yes, she has amassed quite a following and legend around her. However, since no one wrote down her predictions, no one knows if any prediction attributed to her these days is genuine. And even if it was, no one knows if the prediction would be true. But we need to take a note at this. Although there are many prophets who make predictions about the end of the world, in reality, God has said that no one knows the day or hour of his coming, but God. Social revolutions. The predictions of political upheavals and dangers are not limited to one area, indicating Vanga's vision of global tension. She talked about Putin in danger and European trials. The political upheavals as a result of the Russia and Ukraine war, Baba Vanga has predicted the assassination of Russian President Vladimir Putin. This prediction gains particular significance following a recent tragic event in Moscow that has shocked the world. The recent terrorist attack in Moscow, which claimed the lives of 133 individuals and left many more wounded, has sent shockwaves across Russia and beyond. President Putin addressed the nation, acknowledging the severity of the attack and vowing to pursue those responsible for organizing it. The attack, which occurred at the Crocus City Hall during a rock concert, marked one of the deadliest terrorist incidents in Moscow in over 2 decades. The tragedy has reignited concerns about security and terrorism in the region, prompting heightened vigilance and security measures. While authorities have detained suspects linked to the attack, including individuals with alleged ties to extremist groups, questions linger about the motives and origins of the assailants. Speculation and conspiracy theories have emerged, with some suggesting possible connections to larger geopolitical tensions and conflicts. Against this backdrop, Baba Vanga's prediction about a rise in terrorist attacks in Europe takes on added significance. Her mention of a big country conducting biological weapons tests or attacks adds another layer of complexity to the ongoing discussions about global security. Baba Vanga warned of increased terrorist activities in Europe and hinted at the possibility of a major country engaging in biological weapons testing or launching attacks. Presently, the Israel-Hamas conflict and Russia's invasion of Ukraine remain prominent issues, because the balance of international power has changed. Is China rising as many people think, or is Russia declining rapidly? Might be China's development cannot make up for Russia's decline, so the power to balance the West is gradually becoming weaker. There are more and more democratic countries, and their power is getting stronger, such as Eastern Europe and India. NATO is gradually expanding eastward, and a pattern of encircling China is also taking shape. Many territorial disputes between Russia and China are being unearthed from history. Russia's rule over Tatars, Chechnya, and many other ethnic states in the southwest, and China's rule over East Turkestan, Tibet, southern Mongolia, and Hong Kong are becoming less and less recognized by the world. The aftermath of the Moscow attack could potentially exacerbate existing economic challenges, leading to further uncertainty and volatility. Human birth at laboratories. Baba Vanga is believed to have predicted that for 2025, human babies will be born in laboratories, where the color of their skin to their character can be decided. This means that the entire process of birth will be controlled. The rise of technology, according to Vanga, advancements in reproductive technology, have already made it possible for some couples to conceive through in vitro fertilization, IVF, and other assisted reproductive technologies. However, the idea of human reproduction becoming entirely artificial raises a number of ethical questions, such as whether it is right to create human life in a laboratory setting. Additionally, it is unclear what impact this could have on the population as a whole, and what unintended consequences could arise from such technology. Human reproduction becoming entirely artificial could have significant consequences for our population and society. It could potentially lead to a decrease in genetic diversity and a greater reliance on technology to create new life. It could also raise significant ethical questions about the creation and ownership of life, as well as the role of government and society in regulating and controlling such technology. The development of artificial reproductive technologies is an active area of research, and significant advancements have already been made in this field. For example, scientists have successfully grown mouse embryos in an artificial womb, and human embryos have been successfully grown in vitro. While there are still many technical and ethical challenges to be addressed, these advancements suggest that the development of entirely artificial human reproduction is not outside the realm of possibility. The development of artificial body parts and prosthetics is an active area of research, and significant advancements have already been made in this field. For example, scientists have developed brain-controlled prosthetic arms, and some artificial organs, such as hearts, are already in use. While the development of entirely artificial bodies and organs is still a long way off, these advancements suggest that the potential for such technology is not out of the question. The rise of technology. In Baba Vanga's predictions, thanks to advances in organ transplant technology, humans will live to be more than 100 years old. She also anticipated that the darkness would be gone and another region of Earth would be illuminated by artificial sunlight. She foresees a major breakthrough in the realm of quantum computing, bringing an unprecedented technological revolution. This advancement is set to shake up various sectors, from finance and healthcare to cybersecurity, all thanks to the mind-blowing capabilities of quantum computers. The rapid advance of technology is transforming civilization in ways no one expected, in ways that are exciting and scary, ways we are only beginning to understand. Tech seems on the verge of recreating human beings into something new, something altered, bionic, computerized, robotic, superhuman. The internet's spiderweb has descended and covered nearly all elements of civilization. The smartphone, smartwatch, and smart home are growing into the smart world. So, are these things linked to the Bible prophecy? Some readers may recall the words given to the prophet Daniel more than 25 centuries ago in Daniel 12:4, that at the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Not until recent history have we seen a time when millions of people rapidly fly all over the globe, reaching destinations in hours that in previous centuries took months or even years. Until year 1900, human knowledge approximately doubled every century. However, by 1950, human knowledge doubled every 25 years. In 2000, human knowledge would double every year. Now, our knowledge is almost doubling every day. This should certainly make us pay attention to how quickly our world is changing, and with it, how previously puzzling Bible prophecies might now be fulfilled. In Matthew 24, Jesus Christ's disciples asked him what would signal his return. What started with the movable type printing press in 1439 eventually matured into the internet and smartphones, instant fingertip access to anything at any time. Christ's words in Matthew 24:14 have never made more sense than in this era. The internet in everyone's pockets means the potential now exists, as never before, for the true gospel of God's coming kingdom to be preached, truly, to all nations. In Revelation 13:15-17, verses show the rise in the last days of a world-ruling superpower centered in Europe called the Beast. God's word shows it will exercise unprecedented control over people, like the vast Roman Empire but bigger and modern, with religion playing a major role. Revelation shows how the religious leader of this end-time superpower will honor the civil aspect of this power and will punish and kill those who refuse to worship the beast. Note how those who refuse to be part of this satanic system are cut off from buying or selling. Their economic tap is turned off. Then think of our soon-coming cashless society. Every transaction is rapidly becoming electronic. It will not be technically difficult for people to no longer be able to buy and sell if they do not fall in line with the beast power. Technology may not be the actual mark of the beast, but it will almost certainly be used to enforce the mark. The stage is set for God to reach vast numbers with the true gospel, and the context of this prophecy is just before Christ's second coming. Baba Vanga predicted that communication technologies would continue to evolve, making it easier for people to connect across vast distances. Innovations in this field could lead to faster, more reliable internet connections and new ways of interacting with each other, further shrinking the global village. Baba Vanga's technological advancements predicted for 2024 are expected to impact daily life profoundly. From healthcare to communication, these innovations could improve efficiency, convenience, and overall quality of life. As we embrace these changes, it is important to consider the benefits and potential challenges they may bring. Also with that, humans face dangerous cyber attacks. She warns of a surge in cyber attacks for 2024. These aren't your run-of-the-mill hackers. They're leveling up in sophistication, targeting critical infrastructure like power grids and water treatment facilities. These attacks could lead to widespread disruptions and chaos, posing a serious national security threat. New cure for Alzheimer's and cancer. The mystic predicted that new cures for diseases like Alzheimer's and cancer will be invented in 2025. This cure, she suggested, wouldn't come from traditional science alone, but from a combination of technology and natural remedies. For humanity, the implications are enormous. It sounds unbelievable, but, nothing is impossible with the rapid development of world medicine. President Vladimir Putin recently said that Russian scientists are close to creating a vaccine for cancer that could soon be available to patients. He said, "We have reached a significant milestone in the development of cancer vaccines and next-generation immunomodulatory drugs. I hope that soon they will be effectively used as methods of individual therapy," he added, speaking at a Moscow forum on future technologies. However, he did not specify the types of cancer the proposed vaccines would target. Furthermore, recent developments have confirmed progress in the development of a lung cancer vaccine. The United Kingdom has allocated funding for 2 years of laboratory research and initial manufacturing of 3,000 doses for a DNA-based lung cancer vaccine, as stated in a press release from the University of Oxford, located in Oxford, England. But it cannot be denied that the world will have a positive outlook for cancer patients, and we can fully expect that miracle will happen in 2024.